Hi, everybody. Welcome to my 23rd, I believe it's the 23rd day of my 30-day Facebook Lives. I can't believe, I don't even know, I can't even remember all the stuff we talked about, and I know that we could continue to do this all year because there's so much stuff to talk about. Anyway, welcome to everybody who has joined me before. I super appreciate you taking time out of your day, of course, to be here. I am, really loving these things now. I do wish that I could stare at maybe like a list of your faces. That would be super cool instead of just the green light. I would love to see you and look in your eyes and talk, but I know you're out there looking at me into my eyes, so I guess that's the next best thing as we do this. And welcome to new people who maybe are tuning in for the first time or will watch this recording for the first time and watch this recording for their first recording that they watch, and then hopefully or videos, and then hopefully they'll watch more. Anyway, welcome to all of you new people, and I'm Susanna, because that's what my name says up there, and this is to the new people. I am a writer, and this is my first foray into putting my words, my spoken word to my written word. That's what these Facebook Lives were for. That was kind of initially why I first did it, is because I wanted to put myself out there and just take it to the next level, which I've done. And then I'll take it after this to another level. I don't even know what that's going to look like, but it'll be fun or exciting or nerve-wracking or all three. I am a narcissist recovery coach, abuse recovery coach, helping women get over their abusive, narcissistic ex for good, for always, forever, and ever and ever. Like Taylor Swift sings, we're never, ever, ever getting back together. I'm not going to sing. You don't want me to sing. Today, all of our topics, granted, we're talking about narcissists, so, we could be talking about like Christmas, happier things, but this is what we're talking about. I love talking about narcissists and narcissistic abuse and what it is to be a victim of such abuse. The reason, and a survivor and thriver and overcomer of it, which I am now. And the reason it sounds crazy that I would say I love talking about it, but the reason I love talking about it is because we need to talk about it, because every time somebody talks about it, what we're doing is we're picking up one of those slimy rocks to see what's underneath, and we're going to expose it to the light, right? We're going to expose all that slimy stuff to the light, where we're going to heal from it, and we're going to talk about it, because that is how my healing journey came to a fruition into great success. And that's how we all come to the, it's not like you ever come to an end when you're on a healing journey, but you get to that place where you claim your space in the light, and you have that empowerment. You've taken your power back from the one who hurt you, from the narcissist. You are emotionally free. You are emotionally detached. Getting to that place, it is required that your pain is exposed to the light, right? Because you were living in a darkness. Now you want to get fully into the light. So that's why I do these things, because it's important to talk. Okay, Carl, let's talk about Christmas too. No, I actually don't want to talk about Christmas, because because it's already September and I keep thinking it's like May. Anyway, welcome everybody. It's so very cool to see everybody come back and the new people and stuff like that. All right, first things first, before I get started talking today about another topic about narcissists, you'd think that I've known one in my lifetime or two. My book, which it's not out in print, but I have print copies of it. It'll be out next year in bookstores. I have print copies, and I'm going to, on the last day of my 30-day Facebook Lives, I'm going to give out signed copies and send it to you in the mail. That's what I'm gonna do. All you have to do to enter to win is to share any one of my videos. The more you share, the more entries you have. I'm keeping a list. I am watching carefully. I already have a long list of names of those of you who are sharing and sharing a lot. So that's going to be fun. I was thinking about giving out 10. I may give out more. I don't know. We'll see. I probably will. I have boxes of them, so I might do that. Hi everybody, new people that are joining. All right, so again, today, another fun subject. So we're going to talk about the gray rock method. And, you know, a lot of you have heard these terms maybe. Maybe some of you are like, I don't really know anything about that. And maybe some of you are total experts. You're like Zen masters at the gray rock method, like I am. I'm a Zen master. So whatever stage, that's why I'm doing it, is because you know, a lot of victims, when they're still victims of the abuse, maybe still in the darkness, or they're just leaving it, and they're having, you know, women are having to navigate the divorce process and then custody issues, and they're the ones that have, you know, are with their kids. And so the gray rock method will save your life. It will save your sanity. It will save your ass. I'm telling you, it is a method that takes practice, makes perfect. It's hard to do in the beginning because of the way that we come out of a narcissistic relationship, is that we are, you know, we're just toast, right? We're emotionally beaten. We're all of that. We're just like a puddle, a messy puddle on the ground. We don't feel like we have much strength. So that's why it's difficult to employ something like the gray rock method, because it does take emotional strength. It takes like biting your tongue and maybe, you know, doing a lot of this and just clenching your fists and clenching your jaw and trying to get through it. And I'll explain why it's difficult in the beginning to do this. First, I want to point out, but I can't don't underestimate how powerful the gray rock method can be in your recovery and healing process when you still have the narcissist in the picture to any degree whatsoever. Now, there's a difference between the gray rock and no contact. If you are fortunate enough, because you don't share children or anything else, where once you get out of escape the relationship with a narcissist, if you can, it is highly recommended. I highly recommend it. I know any expert on narcissists would highly recommend this, is to go no contact. No contact means no contact, like zero, nada, nil, nothing. That includes social media. I'm telling you, people, this will save you in the end. I know you're in the beginning, it's very tempting to see what's he up to, what's he doing, who's he doing, all of this stuff. We don't want to know these things, right? You know, I'll tell you, with me, I don't know why I inherently knew this. I could not tell you why. It wasn't like I read it anywhere. I didn't hear it anywhere. Nobody told me to do this. I just started listening to my gut intuition at the very beginning when I first left, and then first started going through the divorce process. My gut instinct was, get rid of everything so he cannot infiltrate. So not just, you know, unfriending, obviously, on Facebook and all social media, but not looking, right? So I never did that, not once. Here's why. And I also unfriended, unfollowed, you know, so I don't even see posts of anybody that could possibly, that could sneak into my feed, right? I'm still friends with a lot of people because I know there's a lot of flying monkeys out there, and I know you're supposed to block them, but I take a little joy in it because I want people to see how well I'm doing and that I survived. Because if there is that one person, that one woman back there in my past that sees how I survived and came out of it, and the word gets around that you can, then I'm all for it. So but that's me. That's me. You know, a lot of you already know I've made it clear that I'm not shutting up. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to be quiet anymore, ever, ever, ever again. I spent way too many decades being silent. That's not happening. And I don't care who's, I've been thoroughly stalked and cyber stalked in every way imaginably possible. So, you know, so if people are gonna know my business on social media, good, cool. Spread the word that I'm in a fantastic place, and I want other people who are in the darkness to come join me in this fantastic place. However, if you are coming right out of it, so back to my point of I unfollowed, because you can do that on Facebook, right? Because when you unfriend somebody, maybe it's just an acquaintance where you used to live, or like couples friends that you used to have, but you don't, you know, whatever, you don't have like a close relationship or whatever, but you don't necessarily want to unfriend because you don't want to invite animosity or whatever it is. Just unfollow them. All you have to do is unfollow people. Then you don't see anything about anything. So I see nothing, and I never have since the very beginning. And I'm telling you what, it saved my life. It saved my sanity, because I was, you know, when you're in that place, you're already dealing with so much pain, right? You're already dealing with the fact of what you know. Like I already knew what he was doing, because that's why I left him, right? I already knew that. I knew who was living, I knew the Goldilocks that was in my house and sleeping in my bed. I knew all that. I didn't want to know anymore. I didn't want to know the details. I knew enough. So that's why I was like, no, nothing. Facebook, Instagram, nothing. I watch nothing. I don't care. It's out of my whatever. So when you're going no contact, that's what that includes too. It's not just you're not answering texts. No, don't answer the text. Don't answer the emails. Change your phone number if you want, or block them. You can do that. I block people on my phone all the time. It's really easy. Block whatever you have to do so that they can't reach out to you, because there's no reason for them to reach out to you. There's none. There's no reason for you to have contact with this person who hurt you. Now I'm talking to people who don't have a reason to stay in contact, like those with children. Obviously, we can't go no contact. That it sucks. I wish we could go no contact. That would be awesome. It would make life so much easier. And that's why the gray rock method is, if you have to have contact, this is what's going to be your biggest sword, right? And shield to protect yourself and move forward. I just want to make sure that I'm reading all the comments. Okay, good. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Annette. Okay. So if you do have to have contact, right? And we're talking about, I'll just repeat this because I've been saying this, but I just want to repeat this for the people in the back, maybe new people today, is that when I'm talking about narcissists, I'm talking about true narcissists. I'm talking about people, and we don't need a diagnosis, folks. You know, if you come out of an emotionally abusive relationship, let's say it's not physically abusive, so you don't have bruises and black eyes to prove you're suffering, but you come out and you educate yourself on what narcissism is and what narcissistic personality disorder is and narcissistic abuse, right? And you educate yourself and you learn about gaslighting and projection and love bombing and hoovering and narcissists being pathological liars. If all those things are ringing true, like if, you know, when I was back there and another woman ahead of me on this journey would tell her story, and I'd be like, oh my God, yes. And it would just check all the boxes, right? So if you're checking all those boxes and you know that you don't need a diagnosis, you know you're with an abusive person, right? Or were with an abusive person. So that's what I'm talking about. So when we come out of these relationships, we're like I said, just a puddle. We are emotionally tender, vulnerable. A lot of us go back. A woman returns to her abuser an average of 7 times. This is understandable because it's super painful to get out. And also we've been brainwashed and conditioned to think that first, we're never going to find anything better. And we're so lonely. And we also are mistaking love for abuse disguised as love because we haven't quite, escaped that yet. So we're in a very tender position. And then when you're dealing with a narcissist who loves to still, even after you've left him or he's left you, change pronouns if you need to, still, narcissists don't let go, right? They may be still hoovering you, they may, whatever. So this is why the gray rock method is important. And then, of course, if you're going through a divorce situation or you're going through a custody of any kind, or just simply setting up ways, that you're now, okay, now you're divorced, now, okay, but you still got kids, right? How is that going to work? Okay, so let me just try to explain the main idea of the gray rock method. Why is it called that? So think about a gray rock, and this is for those of you who this is all new, right? I know a lot of you are super educated on this topic, on this term. So think about a gray rock, right? What is a gray rock? It's really boring. It doesn't attract your attention. So if you were just walking outside or by a river or whatever else, and there's a gray rock, you're not even going to notice it, right? There's no attention there. It's just gray rocks are boring. There's nothing to them. This is what you want to embody, because a narcissist, let me just make sure I'm not missing. This is what you want to embody, because the reason is that a narcissist feeds off, remember, they're emotional vampires. They feed off your reactions. If they can still, that's why, like, when they're hoovering you, trying to get you back, and then they do get you back, then they switch and they're back to being cruel and abusive again, right? This is all a game. They're playing you. So when you go into a divorce situation or a custody situation, or you're just trying to figure out shit with the kids, again, if you don't have that problem, then go cut them off. No contact, just 100% in every area of your life. But when you're dealing with them, and I learned this the hard way, is that a narcissist will bait you. So every time a narcissist is texting you, emailing you, calling you, seeing you in person, they have a motive. And that motive is not to your benefit. That's to their benefit. They're self-serving, right? So think of it like this. Every time a narcissist contacts you, it's like fishing, right? And they're trying to catch something. They want to reel you back in. It doesn't matter what your reaction is. If you get pissed off, if it makes you sad, if it makes you angry, whatever comes back, they don't care. It's all good to a narcissist. So I'll give you some, yes, like Annette saying, don't feed the beast, don't feed the beast. It's true. It's true. Think of it like that. Like you are with a narcissist when you're trying to untie yourself from them. Just think of them that, that's the beast. Don't feed them. So let me give you some examples in a couple, when it comes to the narcissist, let's say, is still in contact with you. Maybe he's still trying to pull you back in. Or maybe he just has issues with you. Maybe he's continuing you're a horrible person, blah, 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 this is all your fault, those emails and stuff like that, oh my God, they know how to write essays, don't they? It's like, okay, and the crazy making part of it, and this is why we don't want to engage with them, is because once we go into that, whatever, if it's an argument or once you start standing up for yourself, and like I said, I have made this mistake over and over and over, and it was not beneficial to me. All it did was cause me grief and anger because I was engaging, right? This is because at the beginning of our recovery and healing process, we are still conditioned to think as we did in the relationship. And in the relationship, we think that we have to, defend ourselves to the narcissist, right? Let's say the narcissist is projecting shit onto you, even though they're the ones that did it. Like, they're accusing you of all sorts of stuff that you didn't really do. So you're spending all your time defending yourself, right? So that's energy that's just wasted. But we're used to doing that with them. The other thing that especially women do with male narcissists is that we are used to sitting up, paying attention, and obeying orders right when they happen. And because in the relationship, this is what we were trained to do, is like, yes, sir, what can it, yeah, just respond right away, react right away, right? Otherwise, the narcissist is going to get mad, angry, punish you, silence, whatever they're going to do. So, for example, in my case, that's why I made a lot of mistakes that I did, because I was so used to reacting right away to, let's say he accused me of something, or he insults me, whatever it was, or said something about me as a mother, or I would react right away. Or if he would ask me a question, I would answer right away. So I didn't want to wake the beast. So this is something we have to retrain ourselves, and we can do it by using the gray rock method. So when you're engaging with a narcissist, and I'll give you some examples. When you're engaging with a narcissist, you want to think to yourself, and I know it could sound kind of silly, but you want to think of the gray rock in your head. You want to say to yourself, I am the gray rock. I am boring. I am nothing. Like, you want the narcissist to just walk on by as you would a gray rock. That's what you want them to do. You don't want to get their attention. You don't want to, you just don't want to open any kind of door that they could walk in to give you more grief. Okay, so examples of this are, let's say that you do have kids, and you have to talk to to your ex for purposes of setting up visitation, stuff like that. This is super, super important for all you mothers out there to do, because it will save you so, so much grief. It's super hard to do in the beginning. You're going to have to train yourself to do this, and you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. Just pull yourself back and keep in mind the gray rock. But let's say, and again, just a reminder, and I talked about this on another day, is that limit your contact. There's no reason you need to be talking over text to your ex. You don't. If the kids are with your ex and there is an emergency, a life-threatening emergency, they'll call you, won't they? They're not going to text you. You don't need to, so you have the phone number open, but you don't need to talk to them on the phone unless it's an emergency, and you don't need to text with them, and you definitely, if you can avoid ever seeing them in person and having conversations, you want to limit it to email, and the reason is because that's where you're keeping track of all of it. Because narcissists are masters, right, at spinning things and to their advantage. So when you're, talking to them on your cell phone, for example, or you're seeing them in person, there's no record of what they're saying and doing. And when you have kids, it's super important that you're recording every single thing that they do. Everything. Everything. Okay. So keep that contact limited to email. Now, in these emails, Because I used to get me some emails, essays. One would be what a horrible mother I was and all that was wrong with my kids, and it was only wrong with my kids because it was my fault, whether they failed in class, whatever. It didn't even matter whatever day it was. And then the next day I'd be all the best mother in the world and everything, whatever. I couldn't keep up. So with emails, what you want to do is to not engage. If they're going to send you a long email, right? I'm working with a woman right now who she sends me the emails first because it's too stressful for her to read them, right? So I go through it because, you know, I'm not emotionally attached to whoever this guy is. So I do that for her, right? I scan through and I let her know, okay, there's this part in here that you have to answer because it has to do with your kids, right? Everything else, nothing, garbage. You don't need to read it. You don't need to, right? Because he sends her, so if you have an email where it's just like all insults, whatever, just rewriting history. Narcissists love to rewrite history, the past, right? They erase it all. Like you're the one with the good memory and they're the one who try to erase it and say, oh, no, you don't have a very good memory. This is what really happened. And you're like, no. Yes, Annette points out something as far as what I was saying about document everything, because that's the only thing that courts care about. And when you have kids, chances are, and you have kids who have a narcissist as a parent, chances are courts are going to be involved at some point, especially in the custody. So document. That's all courts care about. They don't care about he said, she said. They don't care about that shit. They want to see it on paper. That's why you want to limit it to emails. Okay, so using the gray rock method is you can, well, the women I work with, I do this for them. So they don't have to, you know, because they have the healing and recovering to do. So I sort of take that pain away from them, that grief of going through. But if you have to, if you're receiving emails, for example, that are just full of nothing necessary, if it's not about figuring out the kids and who's going to pick up where at what time and when and blah, 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 then there's nothing to talk about. You don't need to be talking about the past. You don't need to be telling them anything about your present personal life, because guaranteed a narcissist is going to use it against you at some point because they're scheming. They're scheming. Don't trust them. Do not trust them with what's going on with you. So looking through, let's say if you get long emails and you're just like gray rock, and if you have to answer, you do so in the most boring way possible. Okay, the most boring way possible that does not open any doors. Let me give you an example. If he's writing, well, so one of the kids got a bad grade and I talked to the teacher and this is your fault and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you write back defending yourself, well, this is what the, you know, da-da-da, it's not my fault, da-da-da-da-da. It doesn't matter. First of all, narcissists don't care. They're just like, ooh, I got her. She's reacting, right? I got her. That's all they care about. There's no use to defend yourself. There's no use. You know you're a good mom. You know you're a good mom. You're never going to convince the narcissist, because guess what? They know you're a good mom. That's why they're accusing you of being a terrible mom, because they know you're a good mom, but they know that is what gets you, that's what makes you react. So remember that. It's not that a narcissist, it's not that your ex thinks that you're not a good mother, no matter what they say. Like the insults, I've seen them all, right? They can get pretty bad. But it's all a ploy to get to you, because they know that you're a good mom. They know the kids are where they belong, with the good parent, with not the narcissist parent, right? So you don't want to engage, because that's opening a door. You want to be very bland and boring. I've become an expert. The women, like I said, the women I work with, I teach them to become experts at, you can say what you say in just one sentence, maybe two at the max. right? Very boring. Nothing to respond to. Nothing. So when you are communicating in any way, but hopefully it's only through email, you just want to keep this in mind every time you're writing back. And your chances of success are going to depend on when you write back. If you react in the moment when you get their email and you write right back, trouble, 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 trouble. You're going to regret that. You're going to regret it because you've just taken in what let's say he's accusing you or he's projecting on whatever it is. He's insulting you, whatever it is, right? So you're taking all that and you're like, you haven't even, you're just vomiting that up when you react right away, which is what the narcissist wants. So to avoid that, you want to take your time. You want to take your time. Let's say that, and of course this differs depending on the situation. You know, if you guys are figuring out visitation for a week from now, you don't need to answer him back today. He's writing you, you know, you can still be civil and you can say, you know, you don't need to be manipulative back, because that's not hurting anybody but yourself, maybe your kids. But take your time. There's no rush. Here's the thing. When you get a message from your ex that pisses you off, right? You need the time. Just let it sit. Because I guarantee that let's say you get it, I guarantee that what you write immediately back is going to be totally different than if you wait 12 hours. That's going to be different than if you wait 24 hours to write back, than if you wait 48 hours. All those are going to be far different. And I guarantee that the 48 hours one is going to be the one that you probably won't regret sending. Whereas the others, you know, we don't want to react emotionally back because it's just feeding the beast, like Annette says. And yes, like Carla says, taking your time takes back your power, you see, because, for example, in my case, I was always like used to, he says jump, I say hi, how high? That's how the relationship was, especially when it came to the kids. Like, he would ask the question or make the demand or whatever, and I'd be like, yes, sir, how do I got to answer right away. I got to tell him what's going on right away. I have to explain myself right away. I have to defend myself right away. So what's that doing? I have no power in that situation, right? He has all the power. So the longer that you take, think of it that way too, is that you're taking your power back. You're going to decide. He's not going to tell you when to, again, change pronouns if you need to. He's not going to decide anymore. You've had enough of that, right? You're done. You're done. Like I always say, you're a grown-ass woman. You're done with another man telling you how high to jump, right? And what hoops to jump through. You're done with that. So take your power back in these, look at it like that in these situations. Okay. The other thing that you want to do is, okay, when you're cutting out you're avoiding all sorts of trouble when you do limit your communication to email. And you have to, again, this is a training process, right? You're retraining your brain to think in a new way where you're going to put yourself as the one with the control and the power, especially if you're the one raising the kids. You know, you should have a say. It's hard because we've doubted ourselves for so long, and often we've been told we suck for so long that it's really hard to step up to the podium and say, I know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, that's definitely difficult. Not saying it's easy in any way. It's something that you're gonna just have to start slowly and think of it like this. When you are feeding the beast, every time you do that, you're giving him your power. you're giving this person who hurt you your power. You want to take this back, especially if you are a mom with kids. You have to take your power back. You have to take it back because you're going to need it. We already talked about, we had a day where we talked about divorcing a narcissist and what that includes for the children. You're going to need your power because you're not only standing up for yourself, but you need to stand up for your kids, right? So the best way to do that is to conserve your energy. And the way to conserve your energy is to not spend any of your energy arguing with him, fighting with him, defending yourself to him, explaining yourself to him. No, none of that. He's not your father. You're not 7 years old and you have to explain where you've been. I guess it's 7, maybe like 12 or 16. Yeah, this isn't your father. You don't need to explain anything. You are an adult too, and you are a parent. So you need to empower yourself and step into that place of power that says, I know what I'm doing. I wish I could tell you that the narcissist is going to stop, but I will tell you this, the more boring you are over a long period of time, here's the thing, you're actually training them. You see, you're actually training them. They don't know this, they don't see this, but you're smarter than the narcissist. We're all smarter than the narcissist once we figure him out, once we pull the curtain back and we see that the wizard is just a short, bald guy. Literally, in my case. Once we see that, once they're exposed, we're smarter than the narcissist. So use that to your advantage, right? I had a thought and it just went out. So taking back your power involves that as far as getting super, super good at disengaging. And then you are effectively training them. I remember what I was going to say. I remember. Okay. Be on alert for, so you're not surprised, when you start doing this, when you start like not engaging with them and being different. Okay. So you were one way with them and now you're going to be different. You're going to be better for yourself, right? You're going to take that power back. So be alert for the beginning of those of your retraining him, right? You're going to say, no, this is how we're going to do this. Isn't that a song? This is how we do. Yeah. So this is how we're going to do this from now on. You are going to set the boundaries. You're going to establish the rules, not him anymore. He's done. He's done making rules for you, right? And he can make all the rules he wants. You ain't going to follow him anymore. In fact, he's going to follow your rules. But when you first start doing this, for example, when you first start, and this is, this one woman in particular, I just keep thinking about her because she's right in the middle of this right now. She started probably about 3 months ago, starting with the gray rock. Again, I help her with, so she doesn't have to, because he sends like essays, man. I mean, just essays. It's ridiculous. So don't read those. Get somebody like me who reads them for you, and we'll just give you the good information of what you need to, so you don't need that grief. There's no point in going through that. No point. It's not helpful in any way whatsoever. But just be on alert is that when you start making the rules for how you're going to engage, and what you're also doing is establishing boundaries, be on alert for a very large and loud reaction. You're going to notice that right away. You're going to notice the pushback. So maybe they're going to get even worse. Maybe they will start. Can we bring some humor into this situation? This is where humor is really good in this situation, okay? For example, he writes a long essay about all the things wrong with you and how you're a terrible mother and all that stuff, right? but there's something in there that you have to answer, like what time are you going to pick up the kids at daycare? So something that in that long thing, it's like scan. Okay, there, I need to write. And you write one sentence back, one short sentence. Does that mean you're going to, I'm giving an example. Does that mean you're going to pick up the kids at daycare today at 3? Because it's not really stated in between all the insults and stuff. And then the explosion, all this projection coming back up. So don't be surprised if, like I said yesterday, who's the real crazy one here? It's not you. It's not you, it's the narcissist. And you will see the crazy when you start, again, being the gray rock. You will see the crazy come out. Because they're like, wait a second, my tactic's not working, so now I'm gonna amp it up, right? Big bad wolf is gonna huff and puff, try to blow that house down, not knowing that you're like, not even bricks. I made my house out of cement. It's not happening, right? But you will get a reaction from them. So be prepared for that. And try to look at it with some humor. The other thing is that this is a good tool to, narcissists notoriously use projection. They don't know it, but you're smarter than them. I'm smarter than them. They'll use projection in that, all these long tirades they're sending you, or maybe long messages they're leaving on your phone or whatever it is, because you're like, no, we don't need to talk. If you want to talk, just send me an email. So they may, who knows, they're sending you long messages or whatever. And so find the projection in it and you'll see what they've been up to, or you'll see what they think of themselves. For example, maybe accusing you of being selfish, being a bad parent, maybe accusing you of parental alienation. That's a word, people, that is being exploited and abused sometimes nowadays by the narcissists themselves. Because what they're doing is they're using that word because they know, especially for us women who are single moms, they know that's a guilt trip, right? That we don't want to be guilty of that. We don't want to. Wait a second. So Sarah's saying just answer questions yes or no. Yeah, that's what a gray rock would do. If a gray rock could write an email, it'd be like yes or no. Pick up, yes, no. Not. Here's an example of opening a door. You don't want to open a door like this. Like if they say, well, I can't pick up the kids because I'm going to I don't know, the narcissist. I can't pick up the kids because I'm going to a thing, a party, or I don't know, whatever. And you write back and you're like, well, you need to pick up the kids because this party of yours is not as important, or your girlfriend is not that important, or whatever it is. I'm just babbling here, trying to give an example. This is opening a door. Just plain to the point. What time, where, when, that's it, right? Do not engage. Practice makes perfect as you go through this. And, it's in the beginning, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. I made tons of mistakes because I didn't know any better. I thought I was still in that place of, I got to answer him right away. Or, if I don't answer right away, oh my God, what's going to happen? That process of taking my power back and be like, I'll answer him when I feel like answering. I'll answer him in time, But there are things, for example, when, sometimes, for example, like last year when he writes this demanding, just threatening email. It's like 3.5 months before summer break. And he writes this email like, you needed to tell me what the dates are right now. We need to agree to them, or basically I'm going to take you to court. It's over 3 months fucking away from when we have to do this, figure this out, right? So I'm like, I don't even think I answered for 5 days, maybe a week passed. I didn't answer. It's ridiculous. You're gonna take me to court 3.5 months before? No, you're not. We're not doing this. And then, like after a week, I'm like, it's 3.5 months away. I'm not making plans. Yeah. But contact me in a couple months and I'd be happy to discuss and plan. So take your power back, right? Again, and I don't say this lightly because, and to anybody outside who doesn't understand what it's like to deal with a narcissist, maybe it does sound silly, but I'm talking to you women out there who have been with a narcissist, and maybe even also, like in my case, having an abusive father or parent, or where the abuse, it goes back a long way. So you've been, you've been going through this for decades, and you've been conditioned to think in a certain way, right? So this definitely isn't easy, but just a reminder to give yourself, I'm giving you permission to be the grown-up that you are, and that to tell you that nobody has a right to boss you around. Whether we put up with it in the past, so be it. We did that, right? But we're changing now, and we're taking our power back. We're claiming our power and stepping into all of who we are, all of the beautiful being that we are. And so remember that, as far as, no, I'm not 12 years old, and you're not my father, and I can, no, we're not gonna do this your way. We're gonna do it my way. You could be super nice about it, right? We don't have to be. That's another thing. No matter if whatever emotion you're feeling, anger, rage, sadness, heartbreak, all of that is valid. Feel those things. Don't try to push them down. Feel it all, but don't let the narcissist know you're feeling these things. Talk about feeding the beast. Don't let them know. Don't let them see it. All you want to show them is your power. Just be like sitting up on the mountaintop, and like they can't even touch you. Can't touch you when you sit in claim your space in your power, right? Okay, I think I hopefully gave a good example of being gray rock. Again, just embodying the gray rock, the boring, plain, so that the narcissist goes and finds, chases the next squirrel and leaves you alone. This is not going to happen right away. You have to train them, right? You have to train them. They'll lose interest, or at least they'll lose interest to stop spending all that time trying to engage you, like leaving messages or long emails or whatever else, just short, to the point when you're dealing with them, and do not engage. Okay. I hope I covered it all. I would love to, and I'm just reading the comments now. Yes, like Susan is saying, we don't want to have a reaction. We don't want to have a reaction to the narcissist. That's what they love. That's what they love. Remember, they're fishing. They're fishing. They're trying to bait you. And they will do anything. They will either go back to like love bombing you, or they'll go to attacking you, and you'll see the ferocious beast come out, or you'll see their rage, whatever it is. You don't know what's coming, but something, when you stand up and make and put your boundaries in cement, and you say, nope, we're going to do it my way now, right? And there's no discussion about that. We're just going to do it my way. And you train them. So you will get, you don't know what's coming after that, but just stick to your guns, keep doing what you're doing, keep gray rocking it, and it'll get easier as you move forward and move through it. And then you'll be an expert. Then you'll be an expert, and you can use it on all sorts of people. Where you get to a place, and I think this is super important, I just want to say for women, because we're not taught, boys are taught to go out, take control of the world, take over the world, do what they, all of that. And along with that comes do what you need to do to, you know, speak out and do what you need to do. Whereas women are taught just the opposite, right? We're sort of told to go inward, to not do this. So that's why I just want to say to women as to how important it is that you do step up into your power and take that power back, right? And then you can use this in all aspects of your life, where you can get to a point where you can express your opinion, which is important. You should be able to express yourself and say how you're feeling at every given time, right? But you can do it with power, meaning that you don't need to spend a whole lot of energy on the wrong people. You don't need to confront. You don't need to get enraged or into angry confrontations. You just, here's my line. Here's my rule. Protect yourself, right? And if somebody is trying to violate it, you're just like, no, stop. No, go away. That's it. Just no, you're not coming in. That's all. Okay, I forgot to get my links ready, but that's okay. I can get them really quick. So I wanted to share the event link for I go around the country with Chris Godinez, who a lot of you know of. Her YouTube show is like all over the world. She's got tons of people, thousands and tens of thousands of people on that, and she is like the narcissist expert. You want to talk about an expert? Oh my gosh, she's the girl, the woman. So we go around the country and talk to small groups. I'm putting in the event link right there. We go around talking to small groups and about all things narcissist. We're going to be in Reno next Saturday, the 14th. If you're in the area, I hope you'll come, get a ticket. I don't think it's sold out yet, but it is. They are small groups, so if you know that you're coming, please get a ticket, because our last 2 events sold out. But it's a great, safe place. It's a great way to spend a few hours on a Saturday afternoon. Just come, share your story, be around other people who, you know what you've been through, right? Who have also been there and can relate and empathize with you. That's what we need. There's no fence sitters there. Y'all know what I mean by fence sitters. We're there for you 100%, offer you support, guidance, whatever you need, hugs, lots of hugs. And so I hope to see some of you. I put in the event schedule for all of our events for the rest of the year, maybe into next year. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while. The other thing I'm going to do here is just put in my website real quick, because if you would like to, even though my book's not in bookstores, it is still available as an ebook. That's the original. That's the ebook cover. This is what'll be in bookstores. But you can just go to my website and get a free copy if you want. That would be cool with me if you did that. And I will see y'all tomorrow on Saturday, winding down, doing the last week. Tomorrow will be the start of the last week of my Facebook Live. I mean, for right now. I don't know what I'm doing after that. Something will happen. I'll have to keep doing this. Just, I don't know. I just don't ask. I don't know. I didn't even know I was going to do this first one. When I did the first one, I had no idea I was going to do it. It was like that day I had somebody, I was, it all came together. I'll just say that without boring you with the story, but it all came together. And I just pushed go live. That's how it started. There was not much thought behind it. So something will happen. But until then, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for being here. I'm sending love and especially hope and strength to those of you who are right in the middle of this, maybe of a horrible divorce or custody with your kids or whatever else. I hope this information will bring you some peace on how to handle it a little better, but I'm sending you hope and strength to get through it. You will get through it. You'll come out on the other side. I promise. You will. You're stronger than you think. Okay. All right. Love to you all. See you tomorrow. Ciao, brown cow.